This is another video showing some of the characteristics of my 1993 Isuzu Trooper. In this particular video, I will show you some of the lift characteristics of a stock 1993 Isuzu Trooper. And this will give you an idea of what the clearance is on this vehicle, which is a stock Trooper. So based on this, from what would be the rock rail area about here, you have basically about a 12-inch clearance. And I'm told that with so much room in the wheel rail, I could get the next size up tires, which would give it even more lift without having to put in any actual lifts at all. Now the only thing is, even though this area from here to here is about 12 inches, give or take, you still have to clear this area. So that reduces your clearance somewhat. And it's probably going to fall into the usual 9 inches or so that most of the stock vehicles have. And of course the undercarriage you'd have to protect as well. So let's see what happens when we get under there. Now this is the position of the ruler when it's touching the frame. And we're showing at least 10 inches from here to the frame. I measured this casing. This casing from top to bottom is about 3.5 inches. So if you look at that, that total is about 13 inches. Which again is pretty good stock vehicle. This Crosspiece comes down a little bit lower than the main frame, and it's showing about 7.5 inches on the ruler, and again we have plus or minus 3.5 inches for the casing. So that would give you still approximately 9 inches or so of clearance. This would be the muffler, and it's showing again about 7.5 inches, and then it's give or take the 3 inches from the bottom of the case to the 7. This is about the lowest point on the underside of the Trooper. The rear differential, because of the angle it takes from the transmission. And even so, we are showing about 4.5 inches on the ruler. But again, the distance between the bottom of the case to here is about 3.5 inches. So give or take 7 inches is the minimum clearance that you would need to get over rocks. And if the rock wasn't directly coming at your differential, then the clearance would be at the level of the axle, which is a bit higher than the differential itself. Let's measure that. So if a rock was coming up and you were worried about the clearance over the differential, then if you would sort of steer sideways, you would have the clearance of the axle, which is considerably more. It's showing 8 on the ruler and then plus or minus 3 from the case. Then the last thing to measure is the skid plate that protects the fuel tank. And it is showing about 8 inches on the ruler, and again 3 inches allowance for the case. And while I'm under here, look at those springs. Those are original factory springs. And I just can't remember over 26 years if I've ever had the brakes done, or if they were done, it was only one time in the whole 26-year span.